All right, guys, today we are going to start designing our dream homes. A person who designs home is called an architect, so you're going to be an architect. And as an architect, the first thing you're going to do is kind of look through some images of different things that houses may have to inspire you. See what looks cool and interesting to you. Are you interested in a really modern house? Or maybe one that looks more colonial with a big front porch? All kinds of cool things you can put on your house. Once you have a little bit of an idea what you'd like, then you're going to start with the shape of the house you like. I have rulers available because when you're making straight lines, rulers really help. I'm gonna make mine a rectangle home, and I think I wanna do one of these cross gable roofs. So I'm gonna start by making the two sides of the house. And I want them to be about the same size. So I'm taking my ruler and I'm putting the 0 at the bottom, and I'm doing 4 inches on this side. So I made a line that went from the 0 to the 4. Now I'm just picking up my ruler and bringing it to the other side of the paper, and I want this one to be the same length. So I'm going again from 0 to 4. And if I measured correctly, these two should line up pretty well, and woohoo, they do. So this is the basic structure of my house. Now I'm gonna put my roof on. That gable has kind of like a triangle in the middle, and then it has a roof that goes behind it. It has a little bit of layering. When you're doing this, you might want to start a little bit lightly with your pencil. I'm doing it darker than I probably would if this was my real art project, because I want you to be able to see it in the video. If this were my real project, I would be using more sketchy lines, and then once I felt confident about them, I would reinforce those lines. So you could see that wasn't measured quite right there. So I'm just going to take it out with an eraser. Then I want to think about what sorts of things I want on and around my house. Things can be realistic, like obviously a house needs a door, but you could also add interesting things, like maybe your house has a roller coaster behind it. Maybe it has a really big pool. Maybe there's an outdoor TV. I don't know. You can really get creative and interesting with this. So we definitely want to add things like doors and windows. I think I'm going to start with a big double door. It has a curve. And I wanted to show you how to make steps. So here's my door. I'll add door knobs to it. When I'm making steps on a house, they get bigger as they're closer. So we've learned in the past that things close are larger, not in reality, but they appear larger to the viewer. So I'm starting with that first step, making 2 lines to make it look deep, and then connecting. From that step, I'm doing diagonal, diagonal, connect, and 2 lines down from that. If that feels complicated and confusing, I will give you another option right here. Here is a door in the sky. If you want, you can start with simply a rectangle, then make a larger rectangle in front, and then a larger one. So if this feels confusing, try that for steps, okay? Now looking at windows. And windows can be shaped like rectangles or squares, or you can have different shaped windows. I'm kind of using this arch shape in my house in multiple different places. We've learned in the past that when you repeat something, it's called repetition, and it unifies your art. Architects use the same principles as artists to unify their work. Only their work isn't a painting, their work is a house. I'm even using this kind of scalloped curved shape to show the texture of my roof. That kind of curve mimics the curve there. So those are artistic choices, and architects make those as well. Maybe I'll add a weather vane on top. I've never really had one of these on my houses. This is where you can see how the wind's blowing. It has the north, east, south, west. Sometimes they have cool sculptures on it. I think I want to put like a little heart on the top just to be cute. I don't know. Then I'm going to make stripes on my roof here. And I'm just going to keep working until I'm like really into my house. I want it to be a house where I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. I would love to live there. Okay, I have some doors and windows. Now I'm gonna go in here and see what I want my house to be made out of. Every house is made out of something. It might be stone or brick, cobblestone siding. Kind of see what resonates or feels right to you. I think stone houses are really cool, so I'm gonna kind of use these irregular stone shapes. You could add a dog house or pets around. There's really no limit to what you could do since this is your dream house. Dreams don't necessarily need to be operational. You don't need to act them out or build them. It can be as cool, as crazy, as interesting, as different as you want. Maybe your house is made out of completely windows. Maybe your house is circular. I don't know. When you're finished with your house, then you're gonna think about what you want around your house. An architect designs the house. A landscape architect designs what's around the house. In my dream house, there would be a big garden with lots of different plants. Maybe I'll put a flag coming off my house for something interesting and fun. Maybe even an apple blossom flag to show it's Winchester. Apple blossom flags are pink, green, and white, so I'll color that in later. And then I'm going to put some mountains in the backyard because I love the mountains. I don't really have them at my house here in Winchester, but I think it would be cool if I did, and since this is my dream house, I can do it. Putting a nice big tree around my house. I like having trees because they're kind of fun to climb in and play around. Maybe I'll put some flowers over here. I could even make a vegetable garden so I had all kinds of food, things like that. Maybe a play set around the house, maybe a cool trampoline, all kinds of ideas that you can do. Maybe I'll put a bush over here and another bush over here. A lot of houses are symmetrical. That means the same on both sides. So I'm making this house symmetrical to an extent. But you don't necessarily need to make yours symmetrical. My door's kind of getting in the way there. Whoops. And then you can just give some weather information. Mine's going to be nighttime, cloudy. All right, I'm feeling good about it other than the door in the sky. But we'll just pretend like that's not there. The next step is just to take a Sharpie and trace my lines. I'm going right over what I did. This will make it easier for me to color later. I will time lapse you while I work on this because I do not think you need to see me trace every line in my house. So see ya in a minute. All right, now I traced everything. I'm gonna take my eraser and just run it over because there are a couple lines I didn't get exactly. I also added a few other things. I added my house number. I added gutters on the house. I forgot to add gutters the first time. That's where when it rains, the water collects and kind of comes out of a tube on the side of the house, and it keeps the house safe from water damage. I added little house lights, a mailbox, and even a birdhouse in my tree over here so I could sit outside and like watch the birds. I think that would be a fun thing. And here, I'm getting rid of my door in the sky. Phew, gone. Last step is to add color. And I think you know pretty much how to do this. You grab a crayon that is the color you want. I'm making my apple blossom flag pink, green, and then leaving the white white. And you're just gonna keep working like that until your paper is full of color, making artistic choices. So I would think, you know, what color would feel good for a front door? I always love the color blue. So I think I'm gonna make my front door blue. But you don't even need to make it just one color. You could have a rainbow front door, a polka dotted front door, I don't know. You could really, really get creative here. When you're coloring, you do want to use good craftsmanship. So while I have the color blue out here, I'll show you in the sky what I mean. So right there is not great craftsmanship. My lines are kind of going all over the place. My coloring doesn't look really neat. It looks a lot nicer when your lines are moving in the same direction, when you fill the space entirely. So this is not filled all the way. This is filled with color. And you're going to fill every area with color unless you want it to be white. So for example, my flag there, I didn't want it to be color because I wanted it to be the color white. Or my clouds, maybe those will be white unless they're rain clouds. I do love rain, so maybe I'll make it like a rainy day at my house so it's like a really nice day. But when you're done, you're gonna have your dream house full of color. I can't wait to see where you wanna live when you grow up. I hope you think of something that I've never even thought of. Great job, 4th grade.